Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a minimal makeup routine video. I've done so many variations of this type of video on this channel over the years, some with eyelashes, some without, some with foundation, some without. Depending on what you're into, I've already probably done something for you already. Those videos are going to be listed in the description box, okay? The one thing that is a bit different with this routine for me at the moment is that I have false lashes on before I even start the look, right? These are lash clusters. I'm going to have a picture of the brand that I'm wearing right now somewhere on the screen. It's also going to be linked in the description box. What I'd say to you is if you do not have the time to pop on a pair of false eyelashes at the end of your makeup routine on a daily basis, just try lash clusters, my loves. Do it the day before you start doing this routine. Do it the week before you start doing this routine. Do it the weekend before you start doing this routine. Most of the time, lash clusters can last you for a week plus. The glue that I like to use is this one from Duo Eyelash Adhesive. A bigger picture is going to appear on the screen. It's also going to be linked in the description box. If you like to wear cluster lashes day to day, just use the bond. However, if you're going to do what I'm just recommending, if you do not have time and you wear makeup daily, then use the bond and seal. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to have lashes that look natural when you're wearing makeup or not. And the one thing I like about this particular brand of eyelashes is the fact that it looks good when I'm wearing makeup. It looks good when I'm not wearing makeup. A lot of false lashes tend to look very good with makeup, but they don't look good without makeup. I just wanted to get that out of the way, okay? This routine is very easy, very straight to the point. Let's get to it. For this particular look, the one thing that you want to make sure that you do is moisturize your face. I already moisturized when I left the shower, but most of the time, you guys know that the sides of my face, they tend to get a little bit drier. This end here for some reason, and it's because I have combination skin, because some parts of my face, they just tend to produce more oil than others. This area here is borderline dry. So what I like to do is work moisturizer into that area. But if you've not moisturized the rest of your face, make sure that you do this before you go in with makeup. So just moisturizing the drier parts. The moisturizer that I just used for this is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Water Cream. I really like it. The next thing that I'm going to highly recommend that everybody do, irrespective of skin type. I know that we're going for minimal makeup, but if you live in a hot, humid climate like I do, humidity will come and catch you. And so one thing I say to everybody most of the time is to make sure that you prime. To prime, I'm going to be using the Danisamyrix Yummy Skin Water Powder Serum. This has been my go-to primer for the past year. I love it because it's a very good all-over primer. I say that this is a good all-over primer because it works for your entire face, right? Which is a good thing. But it also works as a very good eyeshadow primer or eyelid primer as well. So that's why I call it an all-over primer. I'm an oily girly, like I already explained to you guys in some parts of my face. One area where I tend to produce a lot of oil is my eyelids, like this area. And that's why eyeshadow tends to crease really quickly if I don't take out my time to prime. This is going to control the oil and prevent it from coming through in this area. Even when you're not wearing eyeshadow, if you have any kind of concealer in this area, you need to prime. If you don't prime, it's going to crack and crease. Next thing that I'm going to highly recommend you do is to use a brow gel. I really love the one from Adele, the Adele brow, what's it called? Brow glue. It gives your eyebrows this instant lamination. I have very sparse eyebrows. You guys can see that it's not full and it's always been like that. And when I tell you that this still gathers everything and holds them in place, even when it's working with very little, just believe me, okay? I've tried different types of products when it comes to brow gels and stuff, and this is literally the best that I have tried. Okay, everything looks the way that I think I need it to look. I found that with this type of makeup look, the most difficult part, especially for people with sparse eyebrows, is the brows. And because with your regular makeup looks, you always fill them in at least nicely, you put decent structure. When you're now kind of doing a look that requires that you be very light-handed, a lot of people get confused as to what to do with the brows. Like, obviously, if you fill them in to be really sharp, then they look out of place. And if you do nothing at all, they still look out of place. So I'm going to kind of show you guys what I do to just balance things out, like what I've found my sweet spots to be. So for my brows, I'm going to go in with a brow pen first. This one is from NYX and it is their Lift and Snatch brow pen. This is not super expensive and I think that it works. Okay, so I'm going to use this to gently fill in the sparse areas that I have first. Okay, once that is done, I'm going to go in with my brow pencil. This one is from ABH and it is their Perfect Brow Pencil. This is the best eyebrow pencil I've ever used in my life and I've talked to you guys about this over the years. And the reason is because it doesn't have that crayony finish that most eyebrow pencils have. This eyebrow pencil will give you a very powdery finish. And if you have oily skin or your brows tend to get very shiny, this is always a good place to start because it's already not waxy. It will help you fill things in without making them look very drawn in, especially if you do it in a controlled way. Okay, so once I'm done filling my brows in, you guys can see that they don't look super defined, like very sharp. You know the way it looks sharp before you go in with a concealer when you're doing a full glam? That's not what we have going on here. We just kind of fill things in a little bit, brought in a little bit of structure, gave the brow some tail. So essential, so it doesn't look super defined. The next thing I like to do is to clean up underneath the brows. For this step, I'm not going to be using concealer. When it comes to cleaning up underneath your brows or highlighting, actually the word here is highlighting. Highlighting underneath your brows after you've defined them. Typically when you're doing a full glam, you would use a concealer. My go-to product for that when I have this type of look going is this product from ABH. This is their Pro Pencil. They call it an eyeshadow primer and color corrector. I don't use this for that. Okay, I typically would just use this to highlight underneath my eyebrows. And I do this because I actually saw them doing this on their account. I've had this product for such a long time and I never found good use for it until I started using it for this. And I love this because at the end of the day, it's a pencil. You just sharpen it and it allows you to be very precise with this step. As you guys can see, that was super easy. What I then like to do after I've done this is go in with a brush and just run this on the edges and just in that area. I'm a very big believer in adjusting the way you apply things depending on finish, right? If I had used a concealer for this, it would just make this area, like it would just create a very sharp, defined line that again, in my opinion, looks very out of place because this is not a full glam. This just gives this area some highlights, but then at the end of the day, it doesn't look like I've used a concealer. Once you're done blending, it should look something like this. It's not shiny. You don't need to set it with powder. This product sets fairly quickly. So as you apply it, you just blend it out immediately, which is what I have done. And it will stay like this throughout the day. It is not going to get unnecessarily shiny. I'd highly recommend this if you're a no makeup girly. Next, I'll be going in with foundation. I'm going in with my Ride or Die, my Huda Beauty Easy Blur foundation. I know that sometimes when it comes to minimal makeup looks, some people really don't like it when you say use foundation. They expect you to say something else, but I promise you, if you have oily skin most of the time, like I do, you're already aware that a lot of the barely there skin tints, a lot of the time, they kind of make us look very greasy as it wears over time. So if you have a foundation that you love, just use it. If you use foundation for a minimal makeup look, it doesn't make the look not minimal again, you know? This is my Huda Beauty Easy Blur foundation. I really love it. It has medium to full coverage, this particular foundation. The undertone is perfect. My shade is Peanut Butter Cup. Okay, so next thing that I like to do at this stage is to line my waterline with black eyeliner. You can use any type of eyeliner that you like, honestly, but I prefer black for this. Okay, so next thing would be concealer. This is the Huda Beauty. I feel like I'm using a lot of Huda Beauty things, but to be honest, I like their products a lot. I kind of trust them. They're tried and tested for me when it comes to a lot of, like, I don't know, situations. And a lot of their complexion products too, they don't break me out. So there's that. That looks a bit crooked, but we'll fix it. My favorite thing about this particular concealer is that it's not super like full coverage. The way like it kind of blends out, it's almost like in a very diffused way. So you can tell that you're highlighted, but you're not super snatched. And that works for the type of finish we are going for. Okay, I'm going to use this sculpt stick from Milk. I think this particular shade is called Simmer. And I'm going to use this to bring depth back to the perimeters of my face. To set my immediate under eye area, I will be using my Huda Beauty setting powder. I'm not baking, so I'm just going to swipe. I'm going to swipe this over this area. So guys, we're almost done. I'm going to do some blush. For this look, I'm going to be using a coral blush. I particularly like them because, I don't know, they just work for looks like this. Okay, for my bronzer, this is the Charlotte Tilbury one. One thing you want to make sure that you do is that you set the rest of your face, like set every other thing. Everything has to be set with powder, but you need an all-over setting powder. This one is from Charlotte Tilbury. Powder blush. Going to apply some mascara. I think I want to add more color to my cheeks. I am going to go in with my MAC blush in Raisin Shocker. I feel like everybody knows how much I love this blush at this point. To finish everything up, I'm just going to go in with lip gloss. This particular one is from Jizu. Okay. To finish everything up, I'm going to use some setting spray. That was way more than I planned to apply. Okay, so once that is done, I'm going to put my hair up. My hair is up now. I really love this look. You guys can see that my face has this very smooth airbrush finish at the moment. This Easy Blur and Easy Bake combo I would always highly recommend because I'm always happy with the finish that I get when I pair the two of them together. The goal for this look for me is never to have like very high definition when it comes to certain parts of my face. It's actually the opposite of that. You guys can even see when you look closely that I still have some of my hyperpigmentation coming through. The ones around my forehead, the ones down the sides of my nose, they're still there. And it's because, like, especially in daylight, I wish you guys could see this makeup in daylight, but in daylight it looks very minimal. Okay, I love it a lot. I love the way that it looks. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you know anyone who is trying to figure out their very minimal makeup routine, share this with them, and I hope that it was even helpful for you, the viewer. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to me if you're not yet subscribed. I'll see you guys in my next one.